The unconscious mind, sometimes referred to as the subconscious, contains the thoughts and beliefs that may not be accessible to the conscious mind that you're aware of, but that still can have an influence on your behaviors and emotions. Many times, there are deep rooted fears, beliefs, and past traumatic events that can influence what's going on in the unconscious mind. And these things can unconsciously affect your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. In this episode, I'll be discussing what might be lying beneath your conscious awareness and how that may be influencing and making it more difficult for you to overcome high functioning anxiety. This is episode number 107, How Your Unconscious Beliefs Prevent You from Overcoming High Functioning Anxiety. Welcome to Calmly Coping. My name is Tati. I'm a licensed therapist and coach specializing in high functioning anxiety. I help high achievers overcome anxiety, stress, and burnout so they can finally stop overthinking everything. If this topic interests you, then please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I release a new episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. So what is the unconscious mind? So the unconscious mind and the concept of the unconscious mind actually has ancient roots, and it was brought into psychology by Sigmund Freud, who was a notable psychiatrist. So essentially, the unconscious mind consists of that of which you are not consciously aware of. So our conscious mind are the things that we're aware of. So maybe that can be the choices that you make, or how you're feeling, or what you're doing, and what you might be thinking about. So these are the things that many times you're choosing or you're aware of. Whereas the unconscious mind could be things that are still influencing your behaviors, but you may not be really fully aware of what's going on, because it's kind of, if you imagine an iceberg, the conscious mind is above the water and then the unconscious mind is what is below. So it's still having an impact on you, but may not necessarily be within your awareness. One concept that I discuss frequently with my coaching clients is the concept of limiting beliefs. And these are beliefs that are holding you back in some way. Some examples are, I'm not good enough, I'm never going to amount to anything, I'm not smart enough, you name it. There are so many limiting beliefs that might be held unconsciously that can then influence your behaviors and the things that you're doing and the way you're approaching things, and can sometimes turn into self-sabotage. So this can apply in career situations, it can apply in personal situations, it can apply in relationships. I see this a lot in relationships with my therapy clients, where they struggle with self-sabotage in their relationships, and they may have limiting beliefs such as, a relationship needs to be difficult in order for it to work, or I'm not worthy of having a happy relationship, or other beliefs such as that. These beliefs are held unconsciously in that you're not consciously thinking these things. You're not constantly going around in the world and saying, I'm not good enough, and then consciously placing this belief into the way that you do things. It's something that's happening so automatically and so constantly that you may not really even recognize that it's there. And a lot of times these unconscious beliefs may be the internalized voices of parents, teachers, coaches, or other significant adults in your life. They may also be related to bad past experiences, potentially if you've experienced trauma, or if you've had any sort of difficulty or challenges in your life that may then have influenced the way that you view either yourself or the world around you. So how do unconscious limiting beliefs hold you back? So I want to give you an example. So let's say you're going to a job interview, or maybe you're having a meeting with a potential client, and you have the unconscious limiting belief, I'm not qualified. So I'm not qualified for this job, or I'm not qualified to help this client. And this might be a fear that's somewhere under the surface. So this may affect you, and even if you're not actively thinking about it, affect the way that you present yourself in the situation. So maybe because you have this fear and this unconscious limiting belief that I'm not qualified, then it's going to have an influence on how you present yourself in the interview. Or you might notice that a lot of self-doubt and thoughts of self-doubt come up during the interview or when you're meeting with this potential client. And so this may hold you back in a way that you may not necessarily be presenting your best self, your most confident self, and you may be trying to kind of stay small or stay safe to protect yourself from other people recognizing that, I'm not qualified. So you kind of want to, so in a way you are unconsciously self-sabotaging the situation. So I want to talk about an example where I helped a previous coaching client with this. So she was in a place where she was really struggling with overworking and she has a lot of responsibilities and was putting a lot of pressure on herself to continue to put herself out there on social media and do all of these things for her business. And I went through the limiting beliefs exercise with her. And one of the limiting beliefs that she identified was that she measured her self-worth through achievements. And so the way that she identified those limiting beliefs that were under the surface was that she identified, if I don't achieve, I have no value. My accomplishments determine how valuable or worthy I am as a person. If I don't have achievements, then people will view me as lazy or incapable. And how else can I measure my self-worth if not through achievements? So these were some of those limiting beliefs she held under the surface that she was able to realize or identify that may have been unconscious before after going through this exercise with me. And she was able to identify that, her family had always struggled in order to get everything that they got and in order to become successful. And so that was something that she saw growing up, her hardworking parents. And then she internalized this belief that I need to work hard, I need to struggle in order to be successful, whether or not it was actually getting her somewhere. But she just had this internalized belief. And so then working through it, we were able to get her to a point where she identified this, what I call new empowering belief. That is a way of rewriting those unconscious beliefs. So that limiting belief of I measure my self-worth through accomplishments, then through our work together turned into working smarter, not harder, will always find more success, peace, and enjoyment. Success is not in direct correlation to hard work, and success is more than just money or accomplishments. I am successful every day regardless of my level of work because I am intuitive to my business and personal needs. And I thought this was a great transformation that she came to rewrite those unconscious limiting beliefs that have been keeping her in this place of constantly overworking, staying busy, and doing things that may not have necessarily been getting her anywhere, but just things that were keeping her busy and holding her back from self-care and from time with her family. And so if you can relate to this, and I can guess that many people struggling with high functioning anxiety can, then this is a process that you can go through. And in transforming these unconscious limiting beliefs to something that's going to serve you in a more positive and empowering way. So how do these beliefs prevent you from overcoming high functioning anxiety, and how do these unconscious beliefs prevent you from doing that? The thing is that many times you might have beliefs, especially if you're a person with high functioning anxiety, that you have to work hard in order to be successful. If you're not always busy, then you're going to be viewed as lazy. You need to be liked by everybody. And so you might find it really uncomfortable to say no to people or to set boundaries. You might have beliefs that you constantly need to accomplish more and your achievements are based on your worth. And I can go on and on. It really depends on the specific beliefs, but a lot of these limiting beliefs, what they have in common is then they create the perfect environment for you to feel like you constantly need to be working or you constantly need to be doing more and thus neglecting your self-care. Whereas it can feel really counterintuitive to say, I'm going to take a break or I'm going to focus on time for myself or my family. And this can feel really scary because of these unconscious beliefs that are keeping you stuck in this place. So a lot of times this is getting to the root of the issue. And this is identifying how are these things that you may not have even realized were within you preventing you from moving forward. And a lot of times these are the things that I help my clients and the members in my membership see, because these are the things that we can't always recognize on our own because they are unconscious. And so you're not necessarily looking out for them. So next I want to talk about how do you identify if your unconscious mind is getting in your way. Before I talk about that, I wanted to mention the sponsor for this episode, which is the How to Let Go of Overthinking and Self-Doubt Masterclass. So this is a free masterclass and it's for high achievers who struggle with overthinking and self-doubt. In this free masterclass, you're going to learn how to get out of negative thinking spirals so you can think more positively and calmly, how to stop your emotions from controlling your day, how to be intentional and effective with your time to improve your mood, and how to shift your mindset so you can cope with whatever comes your way with confidence. To get this masterclass, you can go to calmlycoping.com/masterclass, and I will also leave the link in the show notes. How do you identify if your unconscious mind is getting in your way? So These are just some questions to get you thinking. Do you have fears and limiting beliefs that don't serve you and are holding you back? Maybe you can identify with some of the ones that I shared previously. Can you think of past difficult experiences that may have triggered these fears or limiting beliefs? So maybe there's a specific instance that comes to you that stands out in your mind that was challenging for you, or that maybe cemented this belief in your mind. Things like journaling can really help you to identify these limiting beliefs, along with speaking to a qualified coach or therapist. And I have some specific tips. I have 4 specific tips that may help you. So first is to identify what your goals are, no matter how big or small. So if you're finding that you might be unconsciously self-sabotaging, what is it that you want? What is it that you are working towards? It could be something in your personal life, it could be something in your professional life, and it could be something that you feel like you're kind of stuck with or you're not making any progress with. So then step 2 is asking yourself, how might you be holding yourself back? How might you be getting in your own way or self-sabotaging? Does anything come to mind when it comes to you personally, not looking at external circumstances, as to how you might be holding yourself back or getting in your own way? So step 3 is to use this information as a clue as to where you may be unconsciously holding yourself back, as to where you might have these unconscious limiting beliefs. There may be a function here. So this may be to protect yourself, to keep yourself from danger, to keep yourself from judgment, to protect yourself from failure. So oftentimes there is a function of safety or protection when it comes to these unconscious limiting beliefs. Maybe you don't want other people to think that you're lazy. Maybe you don't want to make a mistake. Maybe you don't want to have a failed relationship. Whatever it might be, identify and use this information to give you clues as to what might be going on. And then step 4 is start to bring more awareness to your thoughts and your beliefs through practices like journaling, mindfulness, and sharing your worries, thoughts, and fears with somebody that you trust. So this is going to help you to just, after you've gone through these 3 steps throughout your days and throughout your weeks, start to bring more awareness and curiosity as to what's going on there. I like to reference this quote by Carl Jung, who was a psychologist. He says, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Unquote. And I think that wraps things up nicely, because many times, it's just inherent in what the unconscious is that we're not aware of it. And so making the unconscious conscious, although it seems like it's minor, can really make a big difference, because rather than being on autopilot and being blind to what's happening, you're bringing awareness to what's happening. And that brings up the opportunity for you to choose differently and to overcome these often inaccurate beliefs that may be holding you back. So your action tip is to bring more awareness to how your unconscious limiting beliefs may be holding you back. And I'd love to continue the conversation in my free Facebook community called Calmly Coping for high achievers with high functioning anxiety. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So what do you think of unconscious limiting beliefs? And did this episode help you identify any that you may personally have? You can join us by going to calmlycoping.com/group. And if you're interested in getting my support in walking through how to break through these limiting beliefs, how to identify them in the first place, and you're finding yourself getting stuck, this is exactly what I support my one-to-one coaching clients with. If you're interested in learning more, you can go to calmlycoping.com/coaching. While you wait for next week's episode, I have other episodes about decreasing anxiety, adopting a healthy mindset, and managing your time and energy. So be sure to check out these episodes here. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and until next time, be calm.